Park today becomes the train station. Everybody is waiting. The Cole Train. The Cole Train looking for that elusive 15th win. It was the ace of the Giants last night, Madison Bumgarner, got the best of the Bucks. It happens. It is Cole Train's turn today. It's all aboard the Cole Train, and it's straight ahead right here on Root Sports.
The Golden Triangle and a beautiful day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This afternoon, the Pittsburgh Pirates host the San Francisco Giants. It's Game 3 of the 4-game series between the Buccos and the defending World Series champions. We check out the standings in the National League Central. Pirates got some help from the Padres last night. They beat the Cardinals, so the Buccos remain 4.5 back in the division. They are 3 up on the Chicago Cubs for that top wild card spot. Greg Brown along with Steve Blass coming your way from PNC Park. A beautiful day for baseball, Steve. Can't think of a better day for Gerrit Cole to get back on track.
Absolutely. He's won 14 games. This will be try number 5 for his 15th win. Very good against the San Francisco Giants out in California when he faced them. 7 innings, no earned runs, and 9 strikeouts. So you hope he gets back on track. It'll be interesting because he has struggled against Cincinnati. He's got a couple ex-Cincinnati Reds that he's going to be working against this afternoon, Leake and Marlon Byrd.
Yeah, speaking of Mike Leake, the former Cincinnati Red, they traded for him just before the deadline. He made 1 start, then landed on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. He's back today to take on the team that he's really kind of taken control of over the years.
Absolutely. He's 8-3 lifetime against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1 start with the Giants since coming over from Cincinnati, but since the All-Star break, he has been pitching extremely well. He can also handle the bat a little bit. He got a little dose of that last night, so should be a good matchup, and Cole really needs to get even with a couple of these guys on the Giants.
Gerrit Cole has 1 win since the All-Star break. He'll look to turn things around this afternoon, and the Pirates looking to stop the leak and raise the Roger. It's the Buccos and the Giants coming up next.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Saturday afternoon baseball along the banks of the Allegheny. And Gerrit Cole takes the mound, tied for third in the National League with 14 wins. He makes his 25th start of the season. And he tries to get the Bucks another W. They have won 4 of the first 5 meetings of the year against the San Francisco Giants.
Yep, one of those games was a gem by Cole out in California. Saturday afternoon baseball, isn't that what we grew up with? You know, Saturday's game of the week. Well, this is the game of the week as far as we're concerned. And it feels that way with a lot of people streaming over this bridge.
San Francisco Giants lineup. Nori Aoki will lead things off, and it's Matt Duffy and Brandon Belt. He's 3 for 10 in his career against Gerrit Cole. Buster Posey is the cleanup hitter. Marlon Byrd, what a splash in his Giants debut, going 3 for 5 last night. Then it's Brandon Crawford, Gregor Blanco, Air Adrianza, and Mike Leake against Gerrit Cole.
Gerrit Cole, his number is brought to you by Hyundai. Still searching for that 15th win. This is try number 5. His last win was almost a month ago. Has been very good against the Giants, 3-0 in 3 career starts. So you got a feeling that it's not if Gerrit Cole is going to get back on track. It's just a matter of when. And certainly today would be a great day. Kind of interesting first 2 games of this series, Greg. The Pirates won the first one. That was big because, you know, you got to understand how good Baumgartner is. He got the win. He wasn't at his best. But we're on the other side of him. We're even in the series. Now it's time to make some hay.
Check out the defense behind Gerrit Cole. Josh Harrison started at second base last night and now at third base. Defense brought to you by Honda. Jung Ho Gong at shortstop. Neil Walker, Pedro Alvarez on the right side of the infield. The familiar outfield alignment, Marte McCutcheon, Polanco. And yeah, Chris Stewart is back behind the plate for Gerrit Cole. The Pirates say this was not by design, but you have to wonder. They did run Cervelli out there all week, including after a 15-inning ball game. Strike is called, and we are underway. 78 degrees at game time. Nori Aoki's 4 for 8 in the series. He had 3 hits last night. And a pop-up back behind home plate. Out of play.
And you can only imagine how amped up Gerrit Cole is. I mean, his standards are such that there's a high degree of frustration, I would believe, after trying for win number 15 4 times, coming up empty. I think Gerrit Cole, like most times he's out there, is out there a man on a mission.
And also to get his team wins, obviously first and foremost, Steve. And the Pirates are 2-4 in his 6 starts since the All-Star break. That's very un-Cole-like.
Yeah, and he takes that personally. He knows what he's capable of doing. It hasn't been working the last few starts. Making some pitches that he would like to have gotten back, but that didn't happen. He's out there, start number 25. 14-7, 261 ERA. Still good numbers.
That ERA is 7th lowest in the league. Aoki came off the disabled list on Thursday on the 7-day DL with concussion symptoms. Down he goes.
Just the way you wanted to see this game start. Downstairs to the breaking ball, out in front. Aoki looking for the fastball, didn't get it, and the Rivers Casino tips to win. Simple as that. Gerrit Cole. It could be all of that, but make Mike spring a leak. Leak has been very tough on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Need to get to him, try to get to him early. He has been very, very good since the break, opposite of Gerrit Cole. Then spent some time on the DL. Start number 2 for him for the Giants.
And a roller to the shortstop, Gong. Retires the other rookie, Matt Duffy. Well, a good start, a strikeout and a ground out for Gerrit Cole. Talking to Chris Stewart before the game today, asking him about anything that maybe he has spotted since he's been on the bench what he has watched, and he said, well, Gerrit Cole, if you look at his last start, there was a little mechanical adjustment that he made in terms of his rotation, and he said he picked that up, and the last handful of innings his last start were actually pretty strong.
His rotation of the body.
Chris Stewart talking about that. (2-0) on Brandon Belt. So Stewart back behind the plate. And he goes to 3-0. Belt 2 for 5 RBI double in the 4th inning off Jeff Locke.
Takes it to 3-1. Maybe got a call. His control has been very, very good. Just 35 walks and 24 starts.
Jerry Davis, the crew chief, that liberal strike. Not there. He got a call on the 4th pitch, but that one sails well out of the zone. Jerry Davis, then Tony Randazzo at first, Toby Basner at second, Phil Cuzzi at third. Cole 3-0 in 3 career starts against the Giants, including that start that Steve was talking about earlier in San Francisco. Fly ball to McCutchen in right center.
In the sun. No problem.
Gerrit Cole, scoreless top of the 1st. Bucks go to bat against Leake. Half of inning number 1. Toyota starting lineup: Gregory Polanco in the on-deck circle and getting ready. Then Starling Marte and Andrew McCutchen. Jung Ho Kang will hit cleanup. Aramis Ramirez gets the day off. Neil Walker is back at second base. Josh Harrison starts at third base. Then it's Pedro Alvarez, Chris Stewart, and Gerrit Cole.
They will line it up against 27-year-old right-hander Mike Leake, making his 2nd start for the San Francisco Giants after coming from Cincinnati, where he'd been pitching extremely well. His last 5 starts before the DL, an ERA under 1, has been very tough on the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's not a power guy. As you take a look at his numbers, he gets his share of strikeouts, but he doesn't really blow the ball by people. 1 complete game this year, and the Pirates have really struggled against Mike Leake.
Polanco, pinch hit single in the 7th inning last night. Then in the 9th inning hit into a double play. And first pitch swinging, lifts it to Aoki in left. pitch, 1 out.
And Mike Leake and Garrett Cole, this is their 4th matchup this year. The first 3, obviously, when Leake was with Cincinnati. Cincinnati won all 3 of those matchups. Leake got the win in 2 of them.
Leake made 1 start after being acquired. He suffered a tough loss to the Texas Rangers. Marte, a 6-game hitting streak, was 1 for 5 and drove in his 60th run of the season last night.
Leake is one of those guys, doesn't waste much time. Give me the ball, give me a sign. I'll try to do that.
Last time he started against the Pirates, June 24th here. 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 hits. Souvenir time. And Mike Leake, who became the 21st player since the draft began in 1965 to play in the big leagues without appearing in a minor league ball game, strikes out Marte.
Fastball out over the plate. Maybe a strike, maybe not. Let's take a look at the location. Maybe a cutter. Chase the pitcher's pitch. Don't want to make that a lifestyle.
Nine and 6, 3.52 ERA combined with the Giants and Reds.
You know, we don't play many 4 o'clock Saturday games, Greg, but it doesn't feel unfamiliar. You know, it just seems to be okay to be at the ballpark this kind of day watching Major League Baseball. It's just such a great day. A lot of people feel the same way.
They couldn't ask for a better day.
Yep. There's going to be a reckoning in that section right there. Today there's going to be a reckoning.
Here's a former friend.
Yeah.
Now a foe.
He's been a problem for the Pirates to get out, certainly.
There's a problem. 1, 2, 3. Go the Pirates against Mike Leake with a couple of strikeouts. Nothing after 1. Of the ball game, Marlon Byrd versus Garrett Cole. 8 for 16 in his career, 2 homers. They were both this season. One was on the June game against the Reds, May the 6th, the other June 24th.
Part of the reason that Garrett has struggled so much against Cincinnati, Byrd a big part of that, so is Leake.
Bird leading off his Giants debut. Couldn't have gone better. Jeff Locke had already given up a run, a sacrifice fly to Buster Posey. There was still a man on with 2 outs when Bird crushed his 20th home run of the season. In the first inning, they gave the Giants a 3-0 lead, then led off the 3rd inning with a single to right, led off the 5th inning with a double to left center.
Not much going too well for Jeff Locke last night. The only good news, you want to look at one side of the coin, he saved some arms in the bullpen. Somehow wandered through 5 innings. It's a game where Jeff could have departed. Sometimes you're out of that game in the 2nd inning.
0-2 count on Bird. .361 hitter this season against Pirates pitching. Cole 155 innings, 10th most in the league, 7th in ERA, 8th in strikeouts. Question came up again today about the innings and whether Pirates are okay, and Clint Hurdle talked about the fact that this is not the most innings he's ever pitched. Someone suggested that 2 years ago. 185 innings. Last year, some time on the DL, 160 innings. He's at 156 currently. 2-2.
Almost got that that backdoor slider to duck in and pick up the inside corner. He's trying to cut in, but he just got too far out in front. Body got too far out in front. Couldn't bring the arm around to pick up that corner.
Didn't get that call, as you saw. Could have been a strike. Might have been, we're talking about that rotation and where that movement of the pitch for Cole that Chris Stewart was talking about before the game. That Cole adjusted to in his last start. 97. Good luck with that pitch.
97 miles an hour with a great location. Talk about a pitcher's pitch.
Number 35, Brandon Crawford.
Slow it down, still looks as good.
Here's his buddy, Brandon Crawford.
Take that, my friend.
Yeah. Future brother-in-law.
A lot of people don't get along with their relatives. It's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's the way, it's the way life is.
It's very true. And hit deep to left. Marte back toward the wall, and he made the catch. Starling Marte. What a grab.
A lot of height. He measured it perfectly. Got back there to give himself a chance early enough. When he went up, he wasn't moving back. He was just going straight up. This ball, a lot of carry. A lot of carry.
Takes a home run away from Brandon Crawford.
Even that higher little part of the padded area, he got up above everything. No souvenir yet in left field. No souvenir for you.
A run saver. Starling Marte. Gold Glove caliber catch. We have talked last couple of years about Marte, that pretty soon there will be more and more national discussion about Marte's defensive abilities, and that a Gold Glove will be in his future. It might be coming sooner than we even thought. He has played, well, in our minds, the best left field we've seen.
He is a gifted baseball player. Two and one on Blanco.
That was stealthy too on Marte's part, because if you're Crawford, you think maybe it's a home run. This ball hit well. McCutchen back, and he makes a fine grab.
Wow.
A couple of hard hit balls, but
Get the ball down here.
Nice catch, and Starling Marte makes a sensational grab. And then Gregor Blanco close to an extra base hit, but Starling Marte makes the catch to Rob Crawford, going over the wall. Andrew McCutchen racing to the wall. And of course, Steve, if you're the pitcher, you're Garrett Cole, you're going to find both men.
Absolutely.
And seek them out.
Yep.
Right there. Greet them both.
Yep. And Andrew made a tough play. He got on his horse. He didn't have as much height to work with. And Garrett Cole, after doing the correct things right there, is going to sit down with himself and tell himself to get the baseball downstairs.
Roller to Crawford, retires Gong. One pitch, one out. That's how the bottom of the first started against Lee.
Do you think there'll be some stories between Cole and Crawford about that ball that was just caught?
Yeah. No doubt. Cole's going to marry Brandon Crawford's sister. They were engaged this summer.
Yeah, who was she rooting for on that play?
Yeah.
They're not married yet, so it's Crawford.
Neil Walker, a pinch hitter last night, delivered a sacrifice fly and stayed in the game and drew a walk later. 2 for 4 with a home run on Thursday. There's a guy that made some great catches.
When's the last time you saw that shirt? That's a scary, scary name for pitchers back in that era. A lot of people feel maybe the best baseball player ever.
What do you think? You played against him, right?
Later in his career, yeah. he was well on his way. Yeah, he's certainly in that conversation with Henry Aaron. He threw better than Aaron. Jose Pagan, who was on the Pirates for a lot of years, saw Clemente, saw Aaron, saw Mays. He said nobody's close to Willie Mays. A lot of people will say Babe Ruth. Yeah. As a pitching.
Point Park University tweets. Certainly loved seeing Starling Marte rob Crawford.
Marte Parde early.
Seated next to Sean Rodriguez.
One reporter robbery. Call the cops.
Josh Harrison back for the second straight ball game.
I think people that really love baseball and have an appreciation for baseball love good, clean defensive plays. I mean,
it's a thing of beauty.
It really looks that good. You're exactly right. They're beautiful things. Some of them almost look like they're choreographed. The rhythm, the flow, the way people do things,
the timing that it takes to read the ball off the bat, the jump that it takes, and especially when you're going up against toward the wall, knowing that's approaching, you're on the track.
Like McCutchen, Marte's catch was fabulous, but McCutchen getting that jump, getting there in full speed when you don't have a lot of time to set yourself.
Yep.
So it's all good stuff.
Yep. Especially neat on a bright, sunny, beautiful day.
Absolutely.
One hopper to third, Matt Duffy. And 1, 2, 3, 6 up and 6 down. Ha, that's funny. Tired of him yelling at TV, so I brought him here. That's the sign of the day so far.
North Shore, I'm Robbie and it's Mikowski. Well, Chase Utley and Andrew McCutchen both have had fantastic Major League Baseball careers. So good, we could call them Hall of Famers right now. Well, Arizona Fall League Hall of Famers, that is. The league announced 2 nights ago that both guys will be inducted into its Hall of Fame. Now, the director, Steve Cobb, said that Kutch is one of the youngest players to merit Hall of Fame consideration and election. Utley is the 6-time All-Star who had kind of a crazy couple days. Made the AFL Hall of Fame, got traded from the Phillies to the Dodgers, and last night made it out in the 9th inning of Mike Fiers' no-hitter last night. That's pretty crazy. Now, the AFL created its Hall of Fame back in 2001 to honor the top Major League players and managers who developed their skills there in the Valley of the Sun. But how about that for Chase Utley? Arizona Fall League Hall of Famer. Get traded to a team you spent your whole from the team you spent your whole career with, and then you get no hit in your first game in a Dodger uniform.
Welcome.
Could have been very fun. How about Mike Fiers? First time he pitched a complete game, the former Brewer, and 134 pitches. There's a line drive foul off the bat of Ray Adrianza.
Yeah, didn't see that coming from Mike Fiers.
No.
But congratulations.
I don't think the Dodgers did either.
Yeah.
And on top of the busy, crazy couple of days, once again, I saw Andrew McCutchen before the game. Crew from MLB on hand, filming some commercial work for the postseason. So once again, Andrew McCutchen using his time off to help, in this case, promote the game.
I'll tell you, they come after Andrew McCutchen a lot.
All angles, don't they?
They want him from all angles for all that kind of stuff. So another indication of how the people around baseball feel about our center fielder.
Pulled to the first baseman. Picked by Alvarez. Talking about Mike Fiers, his first no-hitter of his career, first complete game. It's the 5th no-hitter of the season, 11th no-hitter in Astros history, the first since 2003. 6 pitchers were used, and the first no-hitter by a single Astros pitcher since the late Darryl Kyle in 1993. The surprising Houston Astros, who continue to lead the American League West, 3.5 up on the Angels. A.J. Burnett knows all about no-hitters. Burnett was throwing again today. He started to throw off the mound. They're going to continue to increase his work. Continues to feel real good. Targeting sometime in September to return to the mound in a Pirates game. Mike Leake homered earlier this season, and he has 5 home runs in his career. Hit a home run off Shelby Miller at the end of April. And Matt Cain, talking about perfect game.
Yeah.
Has that on his resume.
Came close to a no-hitter against the Pirates.
A little inside fastball, but that's not what Cole wanted to do. Go up and in 96 miles an hour around the head. The pitch got away, obviously. Ouch, Cole. That's all you need to know. His reaction.
Well, you will find that pitchers know how to get out of the way. They don't fake getting hit by a pitch. And sometimes a pitch that is delivered the way Cole delivered it will create that kind of swing on the next delivery. Strikeout number 3. By the way, I don't think that ball was all that close to his hip, to be quite honest with you. But you sure as heck want to get out of Dodge when it comes in that direction. There's my shot with some of the shadows.
That is your shot.
Yeah.
I think you should take over the camera position over there.
I love that. I love that. The old days of the shadow into the sun. The only thing's missing is the guys with the business suits and the hats.
And the hats. Do you know that our director Pete Tomo, when he calls for that shot, he says, "I want the blast shot in the truck." Have you heard that?
No, but I heard that in a saloon last night. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that.
Want to blast a shot? They know right away.
I do like it. I tell you, you can't get a bad one. I mean, we get a chance to look down on this whole thing all the time, and days like today, it's just
it's fun.
It's times 10.
As that young Pirates fan can attest. Still 0-2 on Nori Aoki.
Oh yeah.
See, that's Brown. Can we get Brown's shot?
Come on down.
Yeah,
Come on down to beauty.
That's my favorite shot.
Yep.
Bouncer to third, backhanded Harrison. And a 1-2-3 third for Garrett Cole.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Coming away from Pittsburgh, the Pirates and Giants meet. The UPMC scoreboard, it is a 0-0 ball game. Pedro Alvarez will start things off in the bottom of the third against Mike Leake, who's breezed through the first 6, has barely broken a sweat.
Yeah, if you like pitching, you might be involved in something pretty nice this afternoon. Both these guys are dealing.
Leake has given up 15 home runs on the year. Alvarez is a .244 career hitter against the longtime Cincinnati Red. Last night, Alvarez, a pinch hitter, grounded out.
We're talking about Mike Leake going on the DL after his first Giant start, but I had no idea he was so hot before that. Greg, 5 starts with an ERA under 1, pitching extremely well before that trade.
Reno. Alvarez hitting extremely well lately. Last dozen games, .417 batter. Green light swinging and a ground ball to second. Adrianza out on the grass.
It still looks funny to see an infielder take a ball on the second area of grass. Goes through the infield, off the dirt, back onto grass here. 4-3. One ball out of the infield off Leake. That was the fly ball by Polanco. Comfortable fly ball to lead off the bottom of the first.
Chris Stewart back in the starting lineup. 4-game hitting streak for him. One-time San Francisco Giant. Stewart spent the 2011 season, much of that year, with San Francisco after Buster Posey got hurt. Line drive caught by Duffy.
Didn't he do that a couple times last
Yes,
night?
he did.
At least once. Reaction play at the hot corner. Hot line drive caught. This play didn't take long. There's the prep. There's the leap. We talked about the beauty of defensive plays, and when you have the super mo that we have, and the guys do it so well, those are great shots to follow every intricate detail of a play.
The rookie Matt Duffy takes a base hit away from Stewart.
Rookie of the Year candidate along with Jung Ho Gun and others.
Pablo Sandoval went and signed with the Red Sox. Some concern amongst Giants fans, but Matt Duffy has stepped right in. Done a heck of a job. Came in 10th in the league in hitting. A .304 batting average. And fine defensive work. And quick work by Mike Leake once again. It's 9 up and 9 down in a hurry. Park. Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today.
Whole lot of pitching going on. Whole lot of pitching going on. First 3 innings of this ball game. Leake and Cole. 1 base runner so far. The free pass to Brandon Belt. 1 base runner going to the 4th. Good looking lid right there.
Yeah.
Good looking pitcher right there.
Two, 3, 4 men in the order against Cole. Slight likeness there to Madison Bumgarner. Got the win last night, his 15th of the year.
We're done with him until at least October, right?
Correct. No more regular season games against Bumgarner. Matching Jake Arrieta for the National League lead in victories.
We've kind of held our own during the regular season against Bumgarner. I mean, he was so dominant in the playoff game that you thought, well, he just was that way all the time against the Pirates. That's not the case.
Two and one on Duffy. Bounced to short in the first inning.
I had a nice chat with Bruce Bochy about Bumgarner before the game today. It was fun talking to him.
Alvarez should be easy.
I asked Bruce Bochy, I said, does anything bother Bumgarner? He said, yeah, guys that aren't professional, guys that might show him up. He says there's a couple guys around the league that he would like to take out to the playground and
Is that right? Isn't that interesting?
And work with them.
Wow.
Yeah. And Bruce put it in the kind of lighthearted way. He said, yeah, I'd like to take him outside and have a serious talk with a couple of guys. He said he doesn't like non-professional things. He said doesn't mind getting hit, knocked around, but if it's a non-professional thing, I guess respect thing. Little testy about that, touchy.
By the way, how good is he, Bruce Bochy?
He's as good as anybody in the game.
He is
right now. He's steady. He's calm. He's good. He's collected.
Somebody was talking, Steve, about the postseason. If you look at what he did, a lot of managers don't change the way they manage during postseason. They say, well, this is how we did it. This is how we got here. But Bochy was willing and has been willing to completely upset the apple cart and change things completely around to try and win in the postseason, including bringing in Bumgarner, of course, for 5 innings of relief in Game 7.
Yep.
Never been done before.
Never been done like that. What was it when the Diamondbacks did Schilling and Johnson? They tandem them up. But yeah, he's a pretty neat guy to be around. Mr. Bruce Bochy.
2-2 count on Belt. Steve, if you wouldn't mind wearing that sometime.
No, that's mine. Who's been in my house? Did you see the kind of headgear that some of the fans were wearing yesterday? Kind of replica of a ring.
Yeah.
Stylish, yet understated. I think that's a pretty nice looking outfit that guy has, huh?
Struck him out looking.
How about these two right-handers? Number 4 for Garrett. Right there on the corner.
And we want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PitDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Buster Posey. And the left field and the first hit of the ball game. It comes with 2 outs in the 4th.
It was Buster Posey that was left out of the party for the Giants last night. Everybody else had a hit that was in the lineup. Not the easiest pitch to hit with that kind of speed inside, but he Was able to push it off into left field.
It's Posey's third hit in 20 at-bats this season against Pirates pitching. They've done a great job against Posey. Not so much against Marlon Byrd, though Cole struck Byrd out in the second. Marlon Byrd will turn 38 years old at the end of this month. And still remember the August 2nd game where benches emptied in Cincinnati. Byrd had been hit by a pitch the night before by Joe Blanton. It's going to go out of play.
Still has a very live bat.
Yep. Marlon Byrd, 14 seasons. And of course, helped the Pirates into the postseason. Did a great job against the Reds in the wild card game and the Cardinals in the division series.
Yeah, you take away the Pirate numbers, that career batting average would be about 240 instead of 275. It's done against the Bucks.
Sean Rodriguez and Byrd really got into it that day in Cincinnati. Clint Hurdle's Pirates 42-20 at PNC Park this season. Broken bat.
Wow.
Softly hit.
You get sawed off there.
Wow. By Walker.
In his kitchen.
At 7:05, first 20,000 fans will get one of these Bill Mazeroski replica statues courtesy of Levin Furniture. Fun will start on Federal Street with the Saturday night block party. Plus, everybody's a winner on an Eden Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. 1 week from today, first 20,000 fans get one of those Maz replica statues. Bill Mazeroski. And there's a guy who spent some time with the Pirates as a left-handed reliever, Jeff Wallace. Jeff is back in Pittsburgh, lives down in West Virginia. A chance to visit with him before the ball game. A great personality with his wife and stepson there.
Good lefty, too.
Yep. Hard-throwing lefty. Oh, and it is a foul ball.
Yep, once it gets off that grass, that line is so close. They had to wait for it to cross the chalk after it dipped off the grass. There's a little bit of an edge on that grass right there. Now it starts to move and continues across. I wonder why they don't cut it in such a way that that chalk is in the middle of the dirt instead of so close to fair territory. There must be a reason.
Oh, there sure, yeah. Sure is. I'll have to ask Manny Lopez design of that. Ball, 1 strike on Polanco.
You wonder if you've got a lot of speed, guys that can bunt, give you advantage maybe to put that line over more toward the middle so it comes off the grass. They got a chance to get their base hits. Sometimes you'll do a little design work to complement your personnel.
Polanco down.
And Mike Leake just breezing.
10 up, 10 down for Leake.
There are corners, there are edges to the strike zone all over the place. Doesn't always have to be low and outside, down and in.
Starling Marte struck out in the first.
Imagine how frustrating it was for Mike Leake to be pitching the way he was pitching, then go on the DL. Well, he's picked up right where he left off so far today.
No hits.
That's, yeah.
Perfect. No base runner. First round pick in 2009 out of Arizona State. And a ground ball to second. 2 outs.
Now he's always been a good major league pitcher, but sometimes you just see guys get on this kind of roll. You don't know how long it lasts. You don't know why it starts, but he seems to be right in the middle of things. Even that first Giants start, he got beat, but he went 8 innings and gave up 2 runs. Got beat 2-0. So this is not out of the realm of what they've been seeing for a long time. What the Giants had to love about what they were getting.
Andrew McCutchen struck out in the first.
There's nothing tricky about Leake. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward set of mechanics. Not a great deal of deception and not overpowering speed. So how does this happen? How do you get on these kind of roads? You make pitch after pitch after pitch. You're getting a groove where you're throwing the ball where you want to. Throwing the pitches, quality pitches, where you want on the strike zone.
Nothing in the middle.
Nothing in the middle. You're doing what you want to do with the ball, and you're throwing the ball where you want to. That's a heck of a combination. It doesn't have to be dazzling, but here we go. We got action.
There will be no perfect game for Mike Leake. 2-out walk to Andrew McCutchen.
I remember Sandy Koufax was quoted as saying when he starts every game, he wants to pitch a perfect game. If that goes away, he wants to pitch a no-hitter. If that goes away, he wants to pitch a shutout. It just goes right down. Your goals get adjusted. They can get adjusted down as well as up.
Again, the Pirates, no stranger, maybe with the exception of Jung Ho Kang, to Mike Leake. Ho Kang faced him earlier in the season.
23 games started career-wise.
Gong is 2 for 6 against Leake. One on Gong. "27 years old, Mike Leake. Working with the veteran Buster Posey. Righty's hitting just .213 against Leake this season.
Yeah, his control has been very good. He had 2 games. One, the first start of the year against the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he walked 6. And then another one later on against Cleveland, where he walked 5. Other than that, 3 or less in the rest of his starts so far this year.
Last 5 games, righties 6 out of 57 against him. A 105 average, and they're 0 for 7 this afternoon, right-handed batters. Pirates look for their first hit. Quick throw over.
You watch Mike, excuse me, Greg, he looks like an athlete.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's an outstanding defensive pitcher on the mound, does all the other things. Talk about the work he does at the plate, but on the mound. There goes McCutchen. Pitch is taken and in the dirt and out. And McCutchen says, check the replay. He is convinced he's safe. Toby Basner calls him out. For now, it's a caught stealing.
Andrew didn't hesitate. Clint Hurdle is hesitating until he gets the word on whether to pursue this or not.
And I think he's going to be safe. Well, they're not going to even challenge it. Well, that one angle looked as though he never even got the foot. Well, we'll take another look at that when we come back. The runners trying to steal this season, and Andrew McCutchen is caught stealing to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
Almost like he made the tag at least on the back of the foot, if not behind the foot. Now there, I'm wondering if they went on that second look, but whatever the case, the Pirates didn't take much time and shut down any pursuit.
They were convinced that those angles weren't going to overturn anything. That would be the key. Is there evidence that shows convincingly? I mean, it looks like he very well could have been safe, but maybe nothing clear and convincing. So McCutchen, who was convinced he was safe, is caught stealing. And on to the 5th. Brandon Crawford robbed of a home run by Marte. There's the future Mrs. Cole. Amy Crawford, who is a star softball player at UCLA.
Cuts a little slider in under the hands.
She's got her fiance on the mound and her brother at the plate. Two and two on Crawford. 19 homers, 75 RBIs. He's 5th in the National League in runs driven in. Cole strikes him out looking. We go back to the studio. Paul Alexander in a game break.
Center fielder, Gregor Blanco.
All right, Paul, thanks. The other game that is underway, the Cubs leading at Wrigley over Atlanta 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th. And Steve, I know you'll appreciate what's going to happen tonight in Cincinnati before the game as they unveil the Tony Perez statue.
Yep, absolutely.
You're a guy that I know you had a lot of respect for, and you played, pitched against him a lot over the years. But I would say he probably ranks, knowing you as well as I do, in the top 5 of guys that you respect in the game.
Absolutely. I thought he played the game at a high level, the way he played it and the way he handled himself, the class of Tony Perez. No surprise he's in the Hall of Fame. I thought the world of him. And we actually didn't, we never fraternized. I don't think I ever said a word to him on the field itself. But, when you look back on a career that you faced him a lot, I thought he was just absolutely one of the great all-around people that played the game of baseball at that level. I don't know if he was ever once on the DL in 24 years of Major League service.
And how clutch was he?
Clutch. Oh, as toughen out as you want in a given situation.
Just the Reds, or later, I guess he played for a couple of other teams.
Boston,
the Expos. If they needed a run driven in, that's the guy they wanted at the plate.
Yep, and he was part of that big red machine. I mean, he was just so good. I mean, he looked like a ball player. He carried himself like a ball player. Happy to hear that news. Perez.
Gregor Blanco. Now it's 3-2. Cole got behind 3-0. Stays full on Blanco. Hit the line drive that Andrew McCutchen tracked down toward the wall in the 2nd inning.
I had a chance to see Tony Perez different occasions after both our playing careers. I had to wait a long time for his down. He was around forever, but I did let him know how I felt. And he did one of the great things. He knew that Willie Stargell had these corns on the top of his toes, and every time that Willie Stargell got on first base, Perez would call for a pickoff play, even if Willie was standing there. Get the ball and smack Willie right on the top of his cleats. Drove Willie Stargell crazy. Willie never wanted to stop at first base because Perez was going to get him on the corners. And laugh. He would laugh.
Well, still 3-2. Blanco fouls off another.
I wish every baseball fan, good baseball fan, could know how many times there's something hilarious that goes on at the major league level. Guys with their gloves over their faces, or something in the dugout. You got to revert to playing this game as a boy sometimes, approaching it as a boy.
9 pitches. Gregor Blanco draws the walk.
Number 2. There has not been a sniff of offense with these 2 pitchers so far. Now you're going to get a situation as this game goes on where you see the shadow there, and that's going to become a factor. A lot of guys don't think it's much of a factor because it's nowhere near as dramatic when you're down on the field as this. but pitchers will be throwing from sun into shade. Batters will be forced to try to pick up spin from sun into shade. I always felt like it was a factor. Not as much for how the ball is being delivered, but winding up or going from the stretch when you looked up and you caught a bit of the sun, then you got to get back down and pick up your vision of the batter. That was the toughest part for me. The transition visually to go from looking into the sun to trying to find out what you're trying to do at home plate.
Now this is about the time for a regular 7:05 game here at PNC Park, where the Pirates have about 15 minutes left of their batting practice.
Yep.
And then the visitors, in this case the Giants, would come out, as they did last night, to take their BP. Runner goes from first, taken for a ball, and into center field. The ball looked like it hit maybe the runner, and that's a big play because he ends up at third on a stolen base.
And almost always the catcher is charged with a throwing error, as that ball was tailing back toward first base. That makes it difficult for anybody trying to cover. When the ball goes over on that side, you got the runner coming in. It's a bad traffic situation. We've seen some injuries, but as you watch the steal attempt, and he's going to be in there, and then the ball doesn't get out to center field quickly, just kind of dies just in back of second base. It's a big play, obviously, because a run might be enough the way these guys are playing and pitching.
Better off had the throw missed everybody, maybe gone into center field hard, rather than hit the runner and die in shallow center. The infield forced to play in a scoreless game. And a little broken bat flared. Because of that, it's 1-0. Ehire Adrianza, a 193 hitter. Broken bat flare, 1-0.
Wasn't there in Cole's last start a pitcher that did a little fly over the head of Neil Walker at second base? Here it is, just a little cue shot that would have been comfortably caught, but the infield in, and sometimes you get burned. I think it was a pitcher for...
Yeah, it was Jeremy Hellickson.
Yep. Good for Arizona.
The Arizona Diamondbacks had a broken bat flare against Cole. Mike Leake struck out in the third. One on Leake.
Just one out, not bunting.
By the way, if you were watching like I was, it really doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot, I guess, but that pitch to Blanco, with Blanco at first, the pitch to Adrianza, he steals. This is a strike. I mean, right there, that was called a ball, so it should have been 0-2. Who knows what difference that would have made? It might have.
Yes.
Instead, it was 1-1 with a runner at third. League's first at bat, pitch that was up and in, a fastball that Cole obviously wasn't meaning to do this, but it's up and in. Around the head, and Cole reacts. He eventually strikes out Leake and looks to the dugout, letting him know, of course, there's no intent. One and two on a very good hitting pitcher, Mike Leake. Next toward third base coach Roberto Kelly.
Watching a replay once again, that ball was a little closer than I thought.
Down on strikes goes Leake. 6 Ks.
A little breaking ball will get you every time. Heath Miller and Madison Bumgarner. By the way, Heath Miller is one of the good guys you're going to run across if you ever see him. and one fine player. The sun is a factor for everybody.
Aoki has struck out and bounced to third. Nine hits on the year against Pirates pitching for Aoki, who spent a couple years in Milwaukee, last season with the Royals. Started in Japan. Thinking that Adrianza might take off. Just his 5th RBI. The shadows creep across the field. There he goes. And off of Stewart's mitt. A stolen base. Second steal in 3 attempts for Adrianza.
So this chapter has opened up, and until you throw somebody out, this chapter could be a long one, because a lot of teams will try a steal, succeed. Okay, let's try another one. If it goes much further than that, you start running a lot until you're thrown out.
Towards center, McCutchen. For the final out, the Giants pick up a run.
A beautiful day for a baseball game, I should say, and here I am hanging out in left field. I'm literally inside the rotunda where there's a brand new bar here at PNC Park. It's called the Corner Bar, literally at the bottom of the escalators that you would take down. They got a 40-foot bar, a ton of different beers, craft beer. If you want to get away from the sun for an inning and hang out, like we have many people hanging out right now, we have lovely bartenders, Brittany, Jamie, and Heather hanging out. If you're worried about missing the game, that's not a problem. They have a 9-television display up here inside a steel wall. It's a great spot to get away. A lot of these games, Greg and Steve, are going to be sold out as we head down the stretch run. So just know that there's a nice little getaway spot if you're hanging out in left field inside the rotunda. The Corner Bar, a place where I might hang for a little bit while you guys sit up there in the booth, okay?
Yeah, I want to get out of the sun. Don't you want to get out of the sun, Greg?
Even in a couple hours.
No.
When the sun sets.
Now. Yeah, that looks,
sun or no sun,
like
that's fun over there.
Fun.
One more game on this homestand. That's tomorrow night. The Pirates return to PNC Park for a brief weekend series against the Rockies next weekend. And then in September, just 2 regular season homestands. 4 with Milwaukee, 3 with Chicago. Then the end of September, 3 with St. Louis, 3 with Cincinnati. So go to Pirates.com and lock in your tickets. As Robbie said, a lot of sellouts. Gong, a drive to center field and clear the deck.
Oh, wow!
Gong Chung Ho. Gong Chung Ho hits the home run to tie the game, his 11th.
And with
1-1.
room to spare. Nobody was going to catch up to that one. About 15 rows up into the grandstand over the ketchup bottle. Catching up in a hurry. One swing of the bat, 1-1 ball game. That is some serious power. Big part of the ballpark.
Way up there. On a 2-2 pitch, it's the 16th allowed by Leake, and a buzz in the air as the man from South Korea ties the game. Gives the Pirates their first hit. 1 hit, 1 run.
The timing is perfect. The foot is up, the bat's coming around, the ball's going to take off.
Leake knew it. Didn't even have to look. Well, we'll go ahead and see how far back it went.
Yep. He knew it before the center fielder knew it.
After giving up the home run, he strikes out Walker for the first out.
That was impressive. Watch Mike Leake. He doesn't turn around. He's waiting for another baseball. Yep, just a casual glance. You know, even as a pitcher, when you know it, you can't help yourself. You want to know how far it went. You know it's gone. Okay, I don't want to look, but I can't help myself. I'm going to look.
And as always in the stands, there's another story. Catching the home run ball by Gong. Chung Ho Gong with 11 homers and 44 RBIs as a rookie. It will be interesting to see how the Pirates work in Jordy Mercer, who played again today and possibly his last rehab game for Indianapolis. Mercer expecting to rejoin the team either tomorrow night or maybe that first game in Miami. We'll see. The Pirates have options, that's for sure. By the way, what a start again by Tyler Glasnow. 6 1/3 innings, a 4-hit shutout ball. Our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Jordy Mercer looks like he is about ready to return to the Pirates.
And Glasnow is not too far away. He is not too far away.
He's only made 5 AAA starts, but he's dominating. 9 strikeouts and 6 1/3 today. 4 hits, no runs. Talking to Mercer last weekend about watching Glasnow pitch, raved about. Stevie said he's one of those guys that if you're a batter, you can't figure how that his arm, when he lets go of the ball, he's like halfway to home plate. The long arms, the big frame, and the ball just gets on you. 3-2 on Harrison.
There's never much time for a batter, and when the big guys come through, they're a lot shorter than 60 feet 6 inches.
Jay hits a fly ball to pretty deep right, but Bird has it in his sights. Harrison flies out to deep right.
Those folks are heading down to the corner bar.
Yep.
We'll be there in a minute.
Alvarez, green light, swinging in the 3rd and bounced to the second baseman, Adrianza, in shallow right. defense there, the alignment, the shift, and the shadows.
Now you understand why they call that light standard the toothbrush light standard.
That's a fair ball and kicks right back to Leake. How about that?
And he picked it up and shoveled it over. He could have just walked over and touched home or touched first base.
It's 3-1-3 on the putout. Jung Ho Kang, number 11, first hit for the Pirates, ties the game. One ball game thanks to Jung Ho Kang and the home run off of Mike Leake, our Barrel Automotive League leader stat. Giants have a potent offense. Taking a look at where they rank in the National League. First in team average, first in runs scored, third in slugging, second in on base percentage, second fewest strikeouts.
And they have one unearned run against Garrett Cole. Last time we were talking about his last time against the Giants out in California. They got a couple of runs, but nothing earned. Got one today, but it's unearned. Both pitchers moving this game along.
Hit hard. Oh, it takes a tough hop past Pedro Alvarez. Like he had it measured, but took a wicked hop. We'll go back to the studio. State Farm game break with Paul Alexander.
First baseman, Brandon Belt.
It's about time for the Braves. They've been horrendous recently on the road. Something like 19 out of 21 or 20 out of 22 losses. Recent road work.
Anthony Rizzo hit his 25th home run. Nick Swisher hit a pair. Runner goes again, and well, he got a huge lead.
Yep.
Matt Duffy with his 6th stolen base.
Talked about that part of the game continuing until you stop it. Third on the afternoon, massive jump.
He's almost halfway to second by the time the pitch is delivered. And now they're going to check on
Is Cole all right?
Garrett Cole.
He's putting his hand up.
He says he's okay.
Not sure what that
Everybody
was
just, the hearts just sank when they saw Clint Hurdle and Ben Potenziano, the assistant trainer, head on to the field. Nothing wrong with that fastball. 97 jumped in on Belt.
That was a little angry, that fastball. As much about the stolen base as the base hit.
In the air toward McCutchen. Runner going to tag. McCutchen going to fire toward third. Hits the cutoff man. Looked like Duffy was thinking about it, but McCutchen did a nice job to set up for the throw there.
Yep, you have that much height, not that far out. You kind of circle around a little bit of half moon action in back of the baseball, so you're catching it on the move toward your throw. Andrew got behind that ball, and that basically shuts everything down. I don't think there was any serious intent of going over to third base.
Buster Posey has flied out and singled to left.
Good looking pitch that is just a bit outside. Well, there's step one on keeping the runner at second base. As a pitcher, you have a runner at second base, nobody out. You love to leave him there, not let him score.
Ball and a strike on Posey.
Kind of a mental game that some pitchers play with themselves. Let me see if I can eliminate that leadoff man at second base.
Towards short, they've got to play at third. A high throw, safe.
Yep, that's all you had to say, Greg. The throw was going to get him, but it was high. You take the risk, you pay the price. Yep. A bad base running decision that turns out well for the Giants, and Clint Hurdle up on the top step. Will they pursue this? There's Gung. Harrison tries to bring the ball back, and you know, an umpire is going to do the best thing he can, but you almost think that they might be influenced by these kind of things when the throw is not good, off to the side and high, but clearly there's no problem with the decision there. Looks like he's safe.
Well, so, he looked like he was going to be out by a mile.
Yep, he was.
Duffy goes in there quickly into third.
Bad choice to go, but he gets away with it because of the bad throw. And now things get complicated. You say, why didn't he take the sure out at first base? Because we thought he had the sure out at third.
Now you have Marlon Byrd coming to the plate in a critical situation in the 6th inning. First and third. Byrd has hit into only 6 double plays this season. The infield at double play depth. He has struck out 102 times. That would be second on the Giants behind Brandon Belt.
You ever wonder why an error is not charged on that play when it looks like an obvious out?
Yeah.
I don't get it. If there's a wide throw many times.
You could. Giants.
Bling.
A lot of blame. 3 of the last 5 years. World champs.
Is it the even years? 10, 12, 14?
Yeah. Does that make them a dynasty, Steve, by the way? That's a question.
A current dynasty, absolutely. So the play goes as a fielder's choice then?
Right.
Obviously.
Yep.
Should be now.
Well, he strikes out Byrd and a big punch out. That is number 7 for Cole. He stalks around the mound.
Yeah, this is when the adrenaline gets going. Because you know there's not much wiggle room today. The way Leake is pitching. Huge strikeout.
When you think about this inning for Cole, he was visibly upset when Matt Duffy singled a one-hop shot that took a bad hop past Alvarez. Cole kind of threw his fist toward the ground when that ball got past Alvarez. Then the steal of second. And getting Belt to fly out holding Duffy, and the ground ball sharply hit at Gong. They thought they had the out at third. The high throw from Gong. And now once again it's Crawford, who was robbed of a home run by Starling Marte in the second. Struck out looking in the fifth.
And a little extra on that delivery at 98 miles an hour. Definitive moment in the game. Might be more to come, but right now, fat's in the fire.
Duffy and Posey, the base runners.
More 98. It's got to be controlled aggression. Garrett Cole knows what this whole situation is about. Trying to throw the ball very, very hard, 98 miles an hour, but it's got to be under control with your mechanics.
Two and one. Brandon Crawford. Glance down at Roberto Kelly.
Everybody looking around to see what's going to happen.
Yep. Cole versus Crawford. All eyes on this matchup. 2-2.
This crowd getting poised to make a lot of noise. If we can get this out, they're poised to make a lot of noise.
Runner goes, struck him out. That's the Cole train they're used to riding here at PNC Park. Back-to-back Ks. Leaves them stranded. Baseball, Jung Ho Gong, no longer an unknown commodity with his impressive everyday play. Plus, Richie Hebner fills us in on his career in baseball after his retirement, and much more inside Pirates baseball is presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Yeah, the hacker, Richie Hebner. Talk about a long major league career. I think Richie got about maybe 20 years in the big league level.
Chris Stewart, who lined out his first time up, pops up. Adrianza. Garrett Cole will come to the plate, and he got the crowd revved up after the strikeout of Brandon Crawford to keep the runners stranded, and his reaction after punching out Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, the Cole train.
The Cole train.
Can't help it. Sorry, can't help it.
No, it's perfect. Let's next time he strikes out, let's do that. Chewbacca. I mean, chewing tobacco. One ball, 2 strikes.
We're going to be done with the shadow around the pitcher's area by the time Leake is done with this inning, and this is probably the toughest time when it's right at you, and you can't help but be looking into it just a little bit.
Still 1-2. What a great shot. Looking into PNC Park.
Boy, is that a day in paradise right there.
Your boat is ready for you.
Yep.
Strikeout number 6 for Mike Leake, who's given up 1 hit. That was the home run. Gong leading off the 5th.
I just had it painted because it was like a neon green.
Okay.
I thought this was a little classier.
Yeah, it really is.
We ready to go right at the end of the game?
Yep. Polanco has flied out and struck out.
The traditional towel wrap around the elbow. That's been around a long time. Rather than a jacket, just take care of the elbow. If that doesn't work, we'll send you down to James Andrews.
There you go. 1 ball, 1 strike on Polanco. Madison Bumgarner was the winning pitcher last night. Of course, he homered. Ran into him after the game. Get all that? Yeah, I don't think I can hit that one any farther. He crushed his 5th. A man from Hickory, North Carolina.
Any power hitter would have been proud of that one. Any of them.
3-1 on Polanco. Leake has walked 1. Three-two count. Right to second. And another 1-2-3 inning for Mike Leake. He's locked up in a pitcher's duel with Garrett Cole.
on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go, Bucks!
Tied at 1, on to the 7th. Third game of the 4-game series. Pirates shut out the Giants 4-0 Thursday night. Last night it was a 6-4 San Francisco victory. Giants got an unearned run in the top of the 5th off Garrett Cole. Jung Ho Kang tied it, leading off the bottom of the 5th with his 11th home run of the season.
Anywhere you look today is good around this ballpark, around the city.
Somewhere in the city.
Somewhere in the city.
Chicago?
No. John
Fogerty.
No.
Loving Spoonful? No.
Yeah. The guy from Loving Spoonful. Yeah.
That's John Sebastian?
Yeah, John Sebastian. That time, somewhere in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Thanks, Zach. Zach's on it.
That's right. Hoping our producer Adam Elmore is feeling better. He'll be back off the disabled list before too long.
Yep. Adam, hold the fort for you.
Yep. You know, he's a big fan of the Rolling Stones. We're talking about groups.
That's
Adam's
right. Yeah.
Favorite group is the Rolling Stones.
Hope this illness passes away and back with us.
Cole was unable to retire Blanco. Part of the 101 pitches was the extended at bat in the 5th inning. 9 pitches. Blanco eventually drew a walk.
Working him again.
And the bullpen up. Joaquin Soria, Antonio Bastardo.
He pitched number 103.
3-2. You really want Blanco, who did hit that line drive to the wall in center field. He's only got 3 home runs on the year. You want to make sure he earns his way. Ray Andrianza is on deck. 3-2 count.
And they're continuing to run too when they get on the base paths.
And he walks another. Again, Blanco reaches with a free pass.
Number 3.
Stewart's had a little bit of trouble on a couple of pitches from off his mitt.
Blanco has stolen 11 bases.
This is an interesting situation. Adrianza obviously going to be a good bunter. Your pitcher is on deck, a good hitting pitcher. Normally you don't bunt a runner into scoring position for the pitcher.
Yeah, he's a good hitter for a pitcher.
Harrison is creeping at third. Not bunting. He's a 193 hitter.
You can bet your life if Arian, whatever his name is, gets on base, that Leake will be bunting this time, the way Cole has handled him.
That might be just a decoy with Tomlinson. Kelby Tomlinson on deck. Bullpen is working for San Francisco. Pirates trying to find if maybe he still might bunt, and it looked as though he was thinking about it. Adrianza, 7 hits and 41 at bats from this left side of the plate, a 171 hitter. As a left-handed batter, including that RBI single in the 5th, the broken bat flare. Oh, and he gets to second base on the wild pitch.
Frustrating afternoon for Cole and Stewart. Talk it over.
Ray Searage will pay Cole and Stewart a visit. Stewart tried to backhand it, goes back to the backstop. Now you have the runner at second, nobody out. Roberto Kelly checks in with Ray Adrianza. Nissan Road ahead tomorrow night. Francisco Liriano for the Pirates against Ryan Vogelsong. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It can be seen on ESPN, and you can tune in to the radio side. Steve and Tim.
Well, what a big job by Cole in the 6th inning when he had to be strong and was, with 2 strikeouts to shut down that opportunity. He's going to have to be just as big right now.
Now he bunts, and somebody better get over to first base. Alvarez will tag Adrianza. Sacrifice going 1-3. And now Bruce Bochy will lift Leake in favor of a pinch hitter, Kelby Tomlinson.
Firm bunt. And the retreat by Pedro. At that point, you don't take any chance on putting your foot down on the base that's in back of you. You tag the guy. You don't really know what's in back of you. Make the tag.
Hunter Strickland up in the bullpen for San Francisco. And now with the infield in, the rookie Kelby Tomlinson tries to get Blanco home. Tomlinson has played in 15 games. He has 39 at bats, hitting .333, and bunting, not a suicide.
Safety squeeze.
Blanco was not taking off on the pitch.
By the way, you saw Bastardo warming up for the Pirates in the upper part of your screen when you showed Strickland.
We saw Bastardo and Soria up earlier together. And a line drive right at second.
Well, he asked Garrett Cole to come up big once again, and he's got a chance to do just that. This time he didn't get a flare hit over an infielder's head that was drawn up. It's happened to him a couple of times. Once today, once last start.
Now Nori Aoki at the plate with Matt Duffy, a right-handed hitter, on deck.
110 pitches for Garrett Cole.
Clint Hurdle trying to give Cole every chance to get out of this on his own. That would allow the Pirates a chance to get him a run, and therefore his 15th win.
Why not? Who you got that's better?
Now Joakim Soria is up, so that was the reason. And there's a roller right side. Cole's got to get over, and he will. Garrett Cole races to the bag. 7 innings, 1 unearned run. Can the Pirates get him one? Gerrit Cole here this afternoon. The fans react after he gets Aoki to bounce out. Watch Cole react to the crowd. A wave, a high five from his catcher, a great standing ovation, and a great moment here at PNC Park. And now it's up to the Pirates to try and get him a run. They'll do that against the reliever Hunter Strickland.
And the Cole train does indeed make a stop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this afternoon.
You could see that when we showed you Bastardo up, that Clint Hurdle was going to let him try and get Tomlinson. And obviously Bastardo was up for Aoki. And then when he got Tomlinson, he had Soria up and would have brought Soria in to face Duffy. He kept Cole in there. And Cole rewarded his manager by getting out of that jam.
Great work. 2 innings where Gerrit Cole was called on to get huge outs in a 1-1 ball game. The Pirates have 1 hit. It's the home run. It's a 1-1 ball game. Get a run here at least. Now how about Mike Leake, who allowed 2 base runners? 1 faced over the minimum, and he's out of the ball game. Times have changed. Times have changed.
1 hit.
Yep.
Marte, liner toward left field, and over the head of Aoki. Marte, a leadoff double in the bottom of the 7th.
That's another factor in Cole's work. It forced Leake out of the ball game. And now Marte sets up shop at second base.
Hunter Strickland giving up the double to Marte.
Right down Grant Street. Doesn't miss it. Ball just kept hooking and hooking and hooking away from Aoki.
24 doubles for Marte. Miles per hour. McCutchen facing a former Pirate minor leaguer in Hunter Strickland. Gerrit Cole talking with his battery mate, Chris Stewart.
If you think Gerrit Cole is just all about power, I've talked to him after games. He goes into detail. I mean, pitch by pitch detail.
Another fastball, 0-2. Wood Park University tweets. Watching at home and enjoying what Gerrit Cole did this afternoon. And Marte representing the go-ahead and potential winning run for Cole. We're in the 7th. Another fastball from Hunter Strickland.
And another situation where Andrews just making contact, late contact, foul balls. One unearned run. 3 hits. Gerrit Cole.
Andrew McCutchen still leading the league in batting in these situations, hitting .391 with runners in scoring position. And a line shot out at short, nicely done by Marte to hurry back to the bag.
Crawford right there to make the play. Take a look at the at-bat. Andrew McCutchen against Hunter Strickland. Pitch by pitch. 98, 98, fouling off, 98 again. And then catching up with the fastball. That one in a good hitting zone. Hit it very, very hard right at the shortstop. Good at bat by Andrew to stay in there, put a good swing on a ball that he hit hard enough to bring in a run. By the way, Garrett Cole, as you take a look at Young and what he has done, Garrett Cole, 14 innings against the world champions, no earned runs, 2 starts this year.
One ball, 1 strike to count on Gong. Gong with the home run leading off the 5th. Strickland, originally drafted by the Red Sox in 2007. 2 years later, the Pirates traded Adam LaRoche to get Strickland. And 2 the count.
Yeah, when a guy throws 98 and he takes something off it, it's a challenge. It's not easy. You've got to be tuned up, geared up for 98. You're going to hit it. And if you don't get it, it's tough.
Bounced foul.
Again, he goes away from 98 miles an hour.
5th inning, the Pirates were held without a hit at the beginning of this frame when Gong went deep for the 11th time, tying it at 1.
Leake knew it. Jung knew it.
Opponents are hitless in their last 15 at-bats against Strickland when they're in scoring position, and Marte takes off the 3rd. He's going to be out. "1-5. He thought that Strickland was going to be going home.
But you've got to be sure. You've got to be sure and then some. When you make this move, you've got to be more than sure.
Assuming that he made the tag there on the back of the leg. And Gong sends a drive deep to left center field, and Jung Ho Kang has just given the Bucks the lead. Bring a Gong for the Cole Train.
For the Gong Train. Wow. Talk about turning things upside down after a bad base running mistake. Jung Ho Kang sends it out of here.
This might
Unreal.
be curtain call time for Jung Ho. His 2nd home run. Just after the disappointment of Marte getting caught off second heading to 3rd. That was pretty sensational stuff. Just after Strickland got the big lift of the caught stealing, this happened.
And nothing cheap about it. This isn't a bullpen. This is the big part of the ballpark. This is not a line drive hooking down inside the foul pole. 2 huge home runs. Right center, left center. Again, the leg kick. And he knows it right there. Garrett Cole checking that ball out of here.
First career 2-homer game in the big leagues for Gong. Second time a Pirate has gone deep twice in the ball game. Neil Walker went yard July the 1st twice. 2 swings for Gong and a dozen homers. And the South Korean flag waves proudly. Well, that'll do it for the Pirates. Mr. Instant Offense. Giants 1, Gong 2.
Authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And the Pirates return on Root Sports next week from Miami, opening up a series 4 games against the Marlins. Coverage starts Monday night, 6:30. The Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Pirates lead it by a run. Joakim Soria takes over for Garrett Cole. That man has supplied the Pirates offense today. Soria faces the 2-3 more 4 men in the order.
His numbers, he is, in addition to what you're seeing there, he has retired the last 11 batters that he has faced. So he's been on a nice little roll recently.
Tony Watson worked 3 straight games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Sean Rodriguez over at first. Clint Hurdle looking to give Watson another day off as he goes to Soria. And 3-0 on Duffy.
You'd love to see him come all the way back. You just want to sit on the Giants now. You don't want to let them breathe. No base runners. Easier said than done.
Yuki Rojas
quickly on the phone.
Yuki Rojas is the bullpen coach, and a leadoff walk on the top of the 8th.
Exactly what you did not want to see.
He is going to get Watson up now. Pirates baseball back on the national stage tomorrow night. Pirates and the Giants at 8 o'clock, plus all kids 14 and under will get a Pirates lunch bag. Compliments of StarKist. Get tickets at pirates.com. National audience tomorrow night. Pirates and Giants, the final game of this homestand. And lunch bags to the youngsters.
Now the Giants have been running successfully. Duffy stole a base. It warrants a lot of attention over at first.
And ball one.
Not a good start for Soria.
Chris Stewart going to call time and head out.
Bye time.
Soria acquired from the Tigers at the deadline, and Tony Watson getting loose. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brandon Belt. Three hits and 11 at bats in the series. Walked in the first against Cole, struck out looking in the fourth, and flied out in the sixth.
So what, I think I heard you say we used Watson in the first game, but not last night?
Correct. And 2 on Belt.
And 24 now strikeouts.
In the air toward the seats. Gong, the only man over there on the left side, with Josh Harrison, the third baseman, over now on the right side of the infield, now to play. George Contos loosens in the bullpen for San Francisco. 124 strikeouts. Steve mentions only 3 players in the league have punched out more times. 2 of them rookies, Chris Bryant and Jock Peterson. The other Ian Desmond, and a broken bat bouncer left side, and they're not going to get anybody. It's first and second, no one out. An infield broken bat single for Belt. Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Here at the ballpark, a couple of fans with Cole and Gong jerseys. I guess they're on Mount Washington.
Yeah, up in the neighborhood. Up in the hood. Is that how they say that? Short for neighborhood?
What they say up in
Mount Washington?
Yeah. Here's Buster Posey. 1 for 3. And Soria has himself in quite a jam here. The leadoff walk and the broken bat infield hit.
You need to add to his total of hitting into 14 double plays.
Posey is hitting .370 with men in scoring position this year.
We have had magnificent pitching efforts when they were in trouble the last 2 innings by Garrett Cole, and we're looking for something here for Soria.
And towards short. There's 1. There's 2. Double play.
Can we do it 3 innings in a row? Can we do it 3 innings in a row?
Chick-fil-A double play. 1 hopper to Gong. On to Walker to Sean Rodriguez. Steve, you asked for it, you got it, and now you have a matchup of Soria versus Marlon Byrd. with a runner at third and 2 outs.
Good looking pitch
Awfully
that
close.
obviously missed. Tight baseball game. Tension. Last 3 innings.
Oh, brother, here comes the runner for the plate, and the game is tied on a wild pitch by Soria.
Breaking ball down and the big bounce. Back to square one. It just goes down. It's hard to swallow because they didn't earn it.
Leadoff walk. What is it about that leadoff walk that seems like comes back to haunt you more often than a leadoff base hit? Duffy scoring.
And the game is certainly not gone, but that took the air out of a lot of people in this ballpark.
2-2, and of course the win taken away from Cole. The important matter is the team getting a W. And nobody feels worse than Joakim Soria right now. Head to the bottom of the 8th. 2-2. $7:05. First 20,000 fans get a free Pirates t-shirt, compliments of Trib Total Media. Enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Line and Google Bar before the game at the Friday night block party on Federal Street. Presented by Barrel Automotive. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. This coming Friday night, brief homestand with Nolan Arenado and the Colorado Rockies. UPMC scoreboard tied at 2. Mike Leake went 6, gave up a run. The home run by Jung Ho Gong. Hunter Strickland pitched the 7th. He gave up a home run to Gong. A well-pitched game by both starters. No decisions for Leake or for Cole. And George Contos, the veteran righty, takes over.
Check it out. One up from the bottom, 5 home runs. Maybe we can do something sudden again.
Chris Stewart upset that he was not able to keep that ball in front of him. A little bit of trouble receiving pitches this afternoon.
He has, but I will say this about this last one. Yeah, it was a difficult afternoon, but breaking balls, when they hit, they can spin either way, and he did get over. That ball came straight up and off the chest protector, so he was there in front of the ball. And just protecting down low with the glove, the ball came straight up.
Harrison, Sean Rodriguez, and Chris Stewart due up here against Contos. Jay Hay was 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch last night, his return off the disabled list. Today he's bounced to third and hit a ball to the warning track and right. Down on strikes.
Both starters deserve better today. League.
So it's another battle of the bullpens, and that has worked out well for the Pirates this season. George Contos will face Sean Rodriguez. First at bat for Rodriguez. Five for 7 his last 3 games. This month in 16 games, hitting .359. And a fly ball to center.
In the sun field now. Still in the sun field as the shadow keeps moving out that way. No problem for Polanco. So that's what you're dealing with. Around 6:30, that's half an hour before usual start time. It'll move quickly, but still a factor. High sky, a lot of sun.
Soria shaking his head. Oh, 2 on Chris Stewart. A line out to third and a pop up to second. Two runs, 4 hits for San Francisco. 2 runs, 3 hits for Pittsburgh.
And you're looking at a guy there. That's a professional major league catcher. These guys bleed for their pitchers. They really do. Stewart, Cervelli, they live for taking care of their pitchers. Folks know that this ball game's still in the balance. Rooting for their Buccos.
Oh, hit toward right center. Oh, and is that a catch? Apparently it is. Although Blanco appears a bit shaken up as he went down to the grass. Was able to avoid a trap. The slide in right center. Great shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. A beautiful day for baseball in Pittsburgh. 2-2 ball game heading to the 9th inning. Another sellout crowd. Makes 21 sellouts. 38,259. They've sold out each of the 3 games this series.
Those sellouts are going to continue.
Don't forget tomorrow night. Nationally televised, 8:05. Hoping to see now a Pirates walk-off. There was hope that this one would end after 8.5, but Joaquin Soria gave up the tying run in the top of the 8th. So Melanson will look to get a win out of this. Brandon Crawford leads off.
I can't keep.
I've got Bucko fever.
That's accurate. That's reality right there. Yeah.
Telling it like it is.
That's right. I'm trying to be calm. This is exciting baseball.
Broken bat. Bouncer to second. Little squibber. Some English on it, but fielded by Walker.
It's kind of a good fielder. Come in, the first guy you face, you break his bat. We'll never out to second. That's what you call hitting off the handle.
Snaps.
And then really getting the full effect.
Stand up to cancer night last night. Those logos on the field. And look at the Blanco kind of slap at it, trying to slap it past the pitcher, and easy play for Melanson.
Well, he's got the kind of speed. If it's not slapped right back at the pitcher, then he's got some action. But his aim a little bit off. Yeah, it's kind of a running bunt.
Does that do anything to you as a pitcher? You care about that?
No, he just gave me an easy out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, Adrian's at the plate.
You know, you're in the big picture. You're trying everything you can do to get somebody out. They're trying to do everything they can do, as long as they're not showing you up. I don't think that's a show anybody up play. Tie ball game tonight.
Melanson picked up save number 38 on Wednesday against the Diamondbacks. He and Trevor Rosenthal of the Cardinals tied for the league lead.
The way those Cubs won't go away. They were trailing by a big number. Now they've tied up the Atlanta Braves.
Strikeout, 6 pitches for Mark Melanson. As the Bucks look to get him the win. Tie game. Pirates fans have enjoyed this one here this afternoon. Respect the logo. Pirate shirt.
Yep.
The Pirate P. Team's official logo. That's a good one. Not my first Bucco game. And not the first time the Pirates have been involved in a tie game going to the bottom of the ninth, for sure. Pirates have 8 walk-off wins. And wouldn't it be something if a former Giant won it for the Pirates? Michael Morse. Well, there they are, Steve.
Greg Brown. Biggest fans, plural.
How about that?
I knew you had more than one.
Thank you very much. So I think there's 3 of them there.
Yeah, they're all holding up the same sign.
Thank you. Exactly right.
Yep.
And that didn't cost me as much as you would think.
And certainly Michael Morse capable, and Contos has thrown 5 home runs out of the bullpen. That's a number that will get your attention.
Strike on Michael Morse.
He's done it before. He can do it again. Goes from slow to medium. This has got more heat on the fastball than that. That was 89 miles an hour. Most everybody that comes out of any bullpen now does have more than that.
One out. Morse caught looking.
Slow, medium, and then fastball at 93. Maybe a little bit off the outside corner, but he gets the call.
Gregory Polanco 0 for 3. Foul ball, and it's 0-2 on Gregory Polanco. Pinch hit single last night in the 7th inning. And then hit into a double play in the 9th. Santiago Casilla came on to close it out. Now the veteran George Contos, one-time Yankee, time with the Padres. Traded for Chris Stewart April 2012 from the Yankees to the Giants. And another strikeout. 3 for Contos. 2 up and 2 down.
Slider kind of up in the zone. Gets away with it.
Marte doubled in the 7th. And a drive towards center field. Marte Parte time and winning. Raise it. Parte time on the North Shore. A walk-off.
Wow! They do it different ways all the time. What a way to start your Saturday night. 3-2 win, 3 solo shots. That's what it took today.
Second career walk-off for Marte. His 15th home run of the season. Got the Gatorade shower early, even before Robbie had a chance to talk to him. And another look at the home run that won it with 2 outs just after Contos had struck out the first 2 in the inning.
Sudden life.
15 for Marte. And the Allegheny Health Network Supermo look.
Wow.
Number 6 wins it for the Pirates. Andrew McCutchen knows it. He was on deck. It travels some 397 feet.
Sweet cheese on a stick. Just how to turn on a crowd. Unbelievable. Unbelievable finish.
May 2nd of last year, he walked off against Toronto with a homer, and he does it here against the Giants. What a game. The pitching of Cole, Melanson. Marte gets it again.
Yeah.
He doubled in the 7th. He homers in the 9th to make a winner out of Melanson. And the Pirates cannot lose this series. They will at least split it and can win it tomorrow night. National TV audience got a chance to see Marte. Let's go back out to Paul and Teague.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. And Teague, obviously, Starling Marte not feeling too good about being picked off between 2nd and 3rd. I have a feeling he's forgotten about that right now.
I think everybody's forgotten about that by right now. Yeah, this crowd is abuzz right now. And, Starling Marte, you know he's aggressive. You know he likes to swing the bat. He got a middle-in fastball first pitch, and he did what Marte can do with that one. He hit it an awful long way.
And obviously right here, walk-off fashion. They are now 9-1 on Saturday games here at PNC Park. And this one, I think, might have the style points to go with it.
Well, I think it's got a lot of things to go with it. But another big win for this club, and they just continue to keep doing what they're doing. Never a situation that you don't feel like they can win the game. Doesn't matter who it is. McCutchen on deck. Marte standing there. He gets the perfect pitch to hit and does what he does with it. Contos, he struck out the first 2 hitters in the inning, in complete control of the inning until one swing by Starling Marte. And guess what? The Buccos win again.
Certainly not a quantity of hits, but how about the quality of hits with 3 home runs out of, I think, just 5 hits all day.
Right. I mean, the Pirates, and we've talked about that a lot in the second half when they've done well and when they put these wins together. The long ball has been a big part of that. They have scored runs with the long ball in the second half, and they've won more consistently because of it.
No question about that. You certainly wanted to see Garrett Cole get win number 15 today. Kind of a heartbreaker. They did get him the lead. They gave him the opportunity. But you know what? The Giants are a World Series defending champ for a reason. They weren't going to go away quietly. So I think even that's forgotten right now that Cole didn't get number 15.
Yeah, Garrett did an outstanding job. And, that streak of 3 or 4 bad starts that he had, you can officially announce that streak is over. Garrett Cole was back to being Garrett Cole, and I don't suspect that that's going to change for the rest of the summer.
And certainly the Pirates very excited with a 3-2 victory on the walk-off. And the man that did the damage, Starling Marte, he's standing by right now with Robbie Smikowski. Robbie?
Yeah, he's a very chilly Starling Marte. Just got the ice water bath from Neil Walker. Sold-out place. You beat the World Series champs. What is this moment like, Starling?
So, that moment is pretty fun, pretty amazing. When you win the game like that, the guy waiting for you and throw the water and feel good.
What happened on that pitch from Contos that you hit for the home run?
I don't think it's going. Because I know I'm getting good to that spot. This big spot right there, and I was running hard. And so when I saw the guy you know, has stand up like that. I was, it's a home run. So I'm gonna try down my speed and win.
How about Jung Ho Kang? 2 home runs today. How good is he playing right now?
Oh. He win the game.
He win the game, not you.
No, not me. Because if he don't do that, right now we still play. So he win the game.
Look at that camera. Say hi to all the fans. Thank him.
Thank you, guys.
Starling Marte, Paul. Tonight's walk-off winner for the Buccos.
Robbie, great job. Certainly we have a whole lot to talk about. We're just getting started. The Pirates walk it off. They beat the world champions by the score of 3-2 in very dramatic fashion. Teak and I are going to break it all down. We're going to get some post-game reaction. We'll hear from Clint Hurdle. We'll show you where the Pirates stand right now after this thrilling win. Buccos win it in a walk-off, 3-2 over the Giants. Pirates post-game straight ahead right here on Root Sports.